Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Hello. Yes, Archie, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Hello, guys. We are waiting for more participants to join the session. We will start the session in few minutes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was checking with the
Okay.
participant whether I'm audible or not. So, by the way, thank you for joining on time. So, though we are waiting for a few other minutes, and after 5 minutes approximately, we should start the session. Archie, you're going to run the guideline, or should I start directly?
No, sir. I will run this guideline in few
Yeah.
minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Take it.
So my screen is visible.
Yes, Arshi.
Okay. Okay, so let's start this session now. Hello and welcome everyone. I am Archie Jain, your host for today's session. Thank you all for joining. My team and I am here to make sure you have a smooth and engaging experience. If you have any question or need to help at any point, please feel free to use the chat window. We are here to assist you throughout the session. Guys, today's topic is securing your AWS Cloud. We are excited to help you learn and grow in your cloud journey. Before we begin, I would like to introduce Synergetics, the sponsor of today's events. Synergetics is one of India's leading learning and consulting organization. We help business and professionals stay ahead in this fast and changing tech world. Our focus area include modern IT, AI, cloud computing, DevOps, and many other emerging technology. We also provide training, advisory service, and end-to-end implementation support that help you build the digital and skills needed to succeed today. Now I'm happy to introduce our speaker for today, Makaran Boir. He is a Microsoft certified trainer, consultant and synergetics. He brings strong experience in AI, cloud and modern technology solution. Here is the agenda for this session. I can pause here for 2-3 seconds so you can read out this agenda. We also run learning communities on Meetup. These communities are free to join for anyone who wants to keep learning about new technologies. We have active group in Pune, Gujarat, Nagpur, Indo and more cities. So if you are interested, just open the Meetup app and search for our technology community and join to stay updated with event and sessions. Guys, we also run AWS webinar series calendar to help everyone from beginner to experienced professional and their grow their skills. For beginners, learn AWS basics, explore career path, and start your certification journey. For IT pro and developers, dive into cloud architecture, migration ML, and prompt engineering. For data and AI professionals, learn data strategy, analytics, and AI fundamentals. For business leaders, understand cloud investment, AI uses cases, and why AWS certification matters. So, guys, do join our upcoming expert led session to build and stand your cloud career. I will also like to highlight the certification workshop we conduct at Synergetics. The Saturday webinars give you a quick overview, but the full certification courses run across 4 days. Right now, we are offering this program at a special discounted rate only for webinar participants. You can see the list of in-demand certification courses on the screen. For details or registration, please feel free to reach out. Before we guys, sorry, do follow us on our social media platform for more update, upcoming webinars, workshop, and certification program. I will be sharing all the links in the chat box, so please check them out and stay connected. Thank you for listening to me. Now I will hand over to this mic, our speaker. He will continue ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Arshi. So I'm sharing my screen. So I hope my screen is visible and you can see my presentation. I've displayed the presentation. Okay, though Archie have introduced me, let me formally introduce myself to you all. My name is Makrand Bhuir. I'm having around 19 plus years of teaching and development experience. I am Microsoft certified trainer. I'm MCT as well as I am AAI, AWS authorized instructor. So from the Microsoft side, I have completed my AC 400 certification. So I'm Azure DevOps engineer. I've completed my AZ 204 certification also. So I'm Azure developer as well as Azure administrator. So I've completed my AZ 104 certification also. And from AWS side, I've completed AWS Architect Associate certificate. So apart from conducting a trainings into a cloud, I'm conducting a trainings in Java and open source technologies. I have conducted a lot of trainings in a lot of corporates, including Accenture, TCS, JP Morgan, LTI, L&T Infotech, Siemens. So these are some of my client names where I have delivered the subjects, primarily a cloud subject or a Java subjects. So today's webinar is quick introduction to the AWS Cloud. So we are going to explore some features of AWS and we will include some practical also, so make it to make it interesting. Otherwise, it will be only one directional. So I will include also some practical to make it little interesting. So this is going to be a very short session, and we should be completing this session around 1.5 hours. So welcome you all for this session. So let's get started. So topic of this webinar, topic of this session is AWS Cloud, securing our AWS Cloud. So what we are going to see, so first, AWS Cloud is very easy to use. So these are the benefits of using AWS Cloud. So it is very easy to use. It is more reliable as well as flexible, okay, and scalable. And of course, as cost effective, so I have observed that, making use of AWS and I have experience in Azure also. So as compared to other cloud platform, this is a little cost effective AWS cloud. And as well as the AWS cloud is also secure. So we are going to discuss some of the concept, so which will make your AWS resources, which will help your AWS resources to be secure. You know, so any kind of a cloud. So for example, if you have heard a word of a cloud. So cloud means what? We are creating the resources on the cloud. What do you mean by that? So which means we are creating resources not on our local environment, on our machine, on our desktop, on our laptop. We are not going to create required resources on our local environment. Rather, whatever be the required resource, you're going to request for that required resource from the cloud. And that cloud can be Azure, that cloud can be AWS, that can be GCP, that can be Oracle Cloud, that can be any kind of a cloud. You know, so one of the most important feature of making use of any cloud is scalability. Okay, and as well as it will offer us a high availability. Okay, as well as it can offer us a elasticity. So that you can compare it with the scalability and elasticity, kind of a same thing. So initially, let's say I'm just giving you one scenario where I can use a cloud. So for example, you're working as or you're setting up your own small company. So when you set up your own small company, your company launch or company introduce one application or one product, that product or application, we will be creating some kind of a online website so that your end customer can go and make use of that application or website. So when we go and create an application or a website, so to host this application or website, I require I require a server where I can host my application. So I need a server. So you are having a choice of either you can go and set up the server on your local environment, so you can go and set up your own data center. So data center is as good as you can in your company. If you're working professional in your company, you must have seen some kind of a server rooms. And inside the server room, you might have seen some servers. So those server will hold your internal application which are running by your company. So either I'm having a choice of I can deploy that application or website on my local on-premise data center, or I can just go and make use of any cloud. So for example, I can go and make use of a cloud such as AWS. Let's say we are making use of a AWS. Say I'm making use of a AWS. Okay, so what is the benefit of making use of a AWS is that you can go and set up this required machine in just a few clicks. So you have to give a request, okay, that I need a so and so configuration of a machine. So AWS will go and set up that machine in few minutes, and that machine will be ready to use. But the same thing, if you are setting up the machine on your data center, so procuring those hardware resources, takes a lot of time, and once you set up that machine, you need additional manpower to maintain these machines. You need to maintain the cooling, you need to maintain the power 24/7. So you need to take care of this machine, since you are since you are setting up this machine on premise. So if I just go and if I set up this machine on premise, I will have to take care of this machine. If I create by using AWS Cloud, so managing that machine, managing the hardware infrastructure of that machine is not my responsibility. That will take care, AWS will take care of that. And initially, let's suppose say I have created a machine which has a particular CPUs. Let's say I'm having two CPUs, 8 GB RAM. So I'm having two CPUs, 8 GB RAM, and 8 GB. Okay, and maybe initially the application which you have deployed, maybe few users are accessing your application. So few users are accessing your application, and suddenly your application become popular. So your idea, whatever you have thought of, that clicked and your application become popular. So that there are many concurrent user who are coming and requesting your application. So that many concurrent user, let's say thousands of concurrent user are accessing your application. So to handle thousands of requests, concurrent requests, so whatever be this hardware requirement or hardware configuration of this machine, this may not be suitable. So whenever your load increases on your machine, you want to scale this machine. And if you are setting up this machine on premise, scaling is also a bit challenging. But that is quite easy when you go and make use of a cloud. That cloud can be AWS Cloud or Azure Cloud or any kind of a cloud. That every cloud offers, this feature. So I can just go and create one more machine. I can either decide to scale up, which means I can just raise, or I can increase the configuration of this machine itself, or I can just go and decide to scale out. So I can either decide scale up or scale out. So when you do a scale out, so you will be deploying another machine with the same kind of a configuration, most likely same kind of a configuration. And on this machine also, I will have application, same website, and you will likely have a same configuration over here, which is my machine will have two CPU. Let's assume that, and 8 GB RAM, and earlier your application was deployed on the one, machine, one server. Now, if you look at your applications are deployed in the multiple server. So what is the flexibility that you are getting? So if in case your this application server goes down, you know, then at least you are having one more application server which can handle the client request. So you're not dependent on one single instance of the server. So there is no single point failure. So when I go and do a scaling, okay, I'm increasing the availability of my application. And ultimately, when we request, so I should not now request this particular application directly. So rather there will be some kind of a load balancer in between. Okay. And we will send the request to the load balancer, and load balancer internally will send the request to either one of the server, either one server or either first server or the second server. So setting up all these infrastructure is just using a few click away if you're using a cloud. But if you are doing that setup on premise, if you are open new company, doing the setup on premise and purchasing all those expensive hardware is quite expensive. That that involves lot of upfront money to pay. So that increases a lot of capital expenditure. you know so if you are choosing any kind of a cloud, let's say AWS cloud, if you're choosing, so you do not have to pay upfront money. So you will be paying only what you are using it. And mostly your bill will be sent on the monthly basis. Huh? so so that is primarily the benefit of using any kind of a cloud. So it offers ease of use to create any kind of a resource. It is very easy, few click away. You can go and create some kind of a script, or you can just go and make use of the portal. It is very reliable. It is very flexible, scalable, and cost effective. And of course, they are secure. You know, I hope you're listening to me, guys. Uh, can you give me a thumbs up, please? If you're there, are you listening to me, guys? Can I see some thumbs up? Okay. So having a multiple account, helps you to helps you, to cost and resource allocation. you know. So there are actually two kinds of account. One is a root user. So one is account for root user, and another is account for IAM user. So there is one feature, one concept called as in AWS IAM user. IAM stands for identity and access management. You know, so using this, I can go and create a users, and all the user, depending on what permission I'm giving, as a root user or as an administrator, what permission I'm giving, so that will be done by the IAM user. huh? So I will just give you a simple scenario. So for example, I'm creating an IAM user. So let's say I'm creating an IAM user. I'll just show you diagrammatically first. you know. So I'm creating IAM user. So there is one user will be created, and this user will have some permission. And how and who can give this permission to this newly created user? So let's say there is one user called as let's say I'm just taking a name, Chaitanya. I'm just reading the participant name only. So I'll I'll call this as a Chaitanya user. Huh? So who is going to create this? So administrator is going to create this, or my root user is, can be allowed to create the new user, which is also called as a IAM user. So this is your IAM user. So IAM user means identity and access management user. And as a IAM user, so I can go and access some resources. So you may have several resources present inside your AWS account. So I may have resources such as EC2. So EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud. As good as this is a machine which is going to create it virtually. So you can think like this is a virtual machine. In the AWS terminology, this is called as EC2 instance. So let's say I'm having EC2 instance. So I'm having one more resource. Let's say I'm having a bucket. So for storing any kind of object or any kind of a file, I can just go and create S3 bucket. So this is one more service from AWS using which you can go and store any kind of a file. So this is stands for simple storage service. So S3 bucket. So where I can store different files. I can have a database. Database called as a simple RDS database. So I may have simple RDS database. So depending on your choice, you can go and assign whatever be the permission to this IAM user. So maybe I would like Chaitanya to go and access only my, only my this bucket. So I can, as an administrator, I can control that permission to the Chaitanya user. So there is one more user, let's say Anand. I'm reading again participant name. So Anand to work on the EC2 instance. So I will give only the permission of that EC2 instance. So once Chaitanya will log in, he can see only the buckets. Probably he can go and create the new bucket, or he can go and upload the new file, new object to the bucket. Chaitanya can go and do work on the EC2 instance, log in to the EC2 instance, and probably do some work. So that kind of a permission I can control by using the concept called as a IAM, identity and management. Sorry, access management, identity and access management. So let's save this. So as a root user, I can create an new user. I can just go and view my billing information. I can just go and see the cost information. So how much is the cost incurred to me, in past 1 month, in past 2 months, in past 3 months. I can just go and configure. I can just go and see the report of that. I can manage as a root user AWS security credential. I can manage support plans. I can manage or modify the account setting. Okay, I can create or restore the permission of a user, IAM user. Okay, I can delete an account of a IAM user. So as a root user, if you are having, the credential of a root user, you are acting as a owner of that particular account. You can do whatever you want to do, you know. So, so it is considered as a bad practice that you will log in as a root user. So you should not log in as a root user even for doing that administrative task also. You know, so for doing administrative task, you should go and create one more user and assign that user as an administrator. And let that user do the administrative task. Okay, so so you can see this. So as a AWS root user, I will go and create, some admins. So as per this diagram, there are two users. I have making the two users as admin. So maybe Bob, and this is one more user. And I'm making, these three different groups, maybe developer group and tester group. Let's say we are creating only two groups, developer group and tester group. So whoever will be acting as a developer, I want to give, one set of permission. So maybe I will give, maybe set of permission. Maybe that permission includes 10 permission. So all those 10 permission, I will be assigning to this group, and we will go and assign this entire group to the to the different IAM user. So that's how you can manage the permission. So you should not go and log in as a root user to do your daily work. Day-to-day activity you should not do by using your AWS root account. you know so let me create, let me show you this practically how it works. So I'm logged in to my AWS account, and I'll go inside my IAM option. So IAM, identity and access management. You can search that option by typing here that service name which you like to open. So let me open IAM service. Okay, and uh, uh, people, raise your hand if your account want to create. I will create maybe a couple of users. So if you want to be a part of my account, so just raise your hand. I will create an account for you. Yeah. Okay. Now, identity center and IAM is two different things. Identity center, is mostly will be configured to uh, configure your maybe SSO. You can think of. So identity center is a central place where your identity will be configured. So you can go and import some user from which are present in the Azure, and you can configure your identity center with that. Okay. I think one person was raising the hand. I don't know who. Okay. So let me just go and create one user. Can you see? I will just go and create a user. Okay. And I just go and create a new user over here. So who was the person who was raising the hand? Just can you raise it again? So I'll give you a permission. Okay. So Raja. So I'll just go and create an account for Raja. And I want this user to access my AWS management console. So optionally, I can just go and assign a permission to the newly created user to access the AWS management console. You know, I can just go and store my identity in the identity center, or I can just go and configure simple IAM user. So IAM user, okay, is simple to configure. Identity center has other, a complication or other, services to configure. So I'll not, go into that identity center for this demo. I will be making use of a IAM user only. And I would like to give a password. That password will be auto-generated. Okay. Or I can define a password, my own password. I'm saying that password. And do you want that password to change when the user next time sign in or first time sign in? No, I don't want the user to change this password. If I just check this, it will make change your password for the first time signing. So that password will known to you only. So it will not known to me. So I'll just go and check this checkbox, and I can specify next what permission I would like to give. There are a few groups I have created earlier. So there are groups like admin, AWS training, contributor, reader. So those groups I have created. So if I make you the part of reader group, so reader group has read only access to all entire AWS services. If I give you a contributor access, it has the power user access. And if I give admin group, if I assign you into the admin group, that user is going to have an administrator access. So depending on what kind of a permission I want to assign to that user, okay, so I'll be assigning reader or AWS training group. Both are having the same permission. So I'll just assign that permission, and I'll say next. Okay, and I'll say create the user. Okay. So now you will go and make use of this URL. Okay. Now Raja can use this URL, use username as Raja, and password Raja123. You can just go and make use of this credential to access. So if I just go and open a new browser, if I say I want AWS console, if I just go to sign in page of AWS console, so this will take me to this sign in page. So here I can type my account ID or my alias. So if I just go inside my primary account, I will be able to see that information. So if I see, I should have some account ID should be present over here. Okay, so I can see that account ID. You see this account ID, and if you look at this URL, So what URL I have provided to you, so that URL has already an account ID. So if I just go and paste that URL directly here, so that account ID will be filled up automatically. So that account ID is included in the URL. So only thing you will have to specify your ID and your password. So if I just specify the ID and password, and if I try to sign in, so it is asking me to, for the first time, the change password. So I should go and change my password. Okay. And so maybe I'm using, so this password I'm using. Now the password is changed successfully. Now if I try and I have already logged in. Can you see this? I've logged in as a newly created user. And now if I search for IAM, so as a IAM user, I may not have a required permission to create a new user. Though I have given a read permission, so you will be able to see these user, but you won't be able to create any new user. Ultimately you are going to get a problem saying you do not have appropriate permission. So can you see this? Raja is not authorized to perform this operation. So you can do only whatever permission it is assigned to you. And that permission I can assign by using IAM group or by using some policies, which is also called as a IAM policies. So ideally, as a AWS account, I should not log in and do my day-to-day activity. Rather, for doing the day-to-day activity, you should go and create a separate IAM user, and by using that, you should perform the day-to-day activity. So for example, I will create few admin user, I'll create few developer, I'll create few tester, and I will do the daily activity. Got it? So guys, give me 1 minute, please. We'll just come back. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So before we go into this, let me just go and create one more. So let me just go and create one S3. And so I'll be going to S3 bucket. So if you go and try to create S3 bucket, so it is kind of a place where you can maintain, store your files. So maybe I'll just give name of my bucket. So this is the name of my bucket I'm giving. So that name has to be unique, globally unique. And I'm going to block all public access And finally, I'll just go and create. And if you go over here, you can go and create a folder, upload whatever be the files. You can go and delete that file. You can perform all those tasks. So, for example, I'm uploading one file. So I'm uploading a file. This is the file I'm uploading, let's say. So you'll be able to see that file is added. Okay. And since I have given the reader permission, so that IAM user who is having that permission, so that user also should be able to see S3. So whatever be the buckets you're having, so you're having the permission to see them. But if I try to delete this, of course you do not have enough permission. So if I say delete this, of course that operation will be failed because you do not have enough permission to do so. So that deletion will be failed, but that user will be able to see whatever buckets you have inside the account. Since you are having a read or reader permission. So I can just go and assign a specific permission on the EC2, specific permission on the RDS, S3, So if I want to make a reader, contributor, or administrator, I can do that, by using the concept of IAM. Okay. So let's see some slide deck. So we are going to see only two topic after this. So security design principle and what should be your security posture. So implement strong identity foundation is very important. So implement the principle of least privilege. So whatever be the permission that user wants, only that permission that user should have. So we should work on the principle of least privilege. Whatever be the permission, minimum permission that user is required, that permission I should give. I should not give any broader permission to that new user. So enforce the separation duty. That means enforce uh, different policies, different roles, to the different groups, and assign individual IAM user into that group. Do not, ideally it is wrong to mix the IAM user into multiple, groups. Though you can technically do it. Avoid long-term credential. So avoid giving long-term credential. Rather, I should prefer giving, uh, short-term credential, or I should give a credential only to a certain amount of time only to the particular user or to the application if we have to give. And as I said, just give, the least privilege. So only give the necessary permission to perform that job, nothing. So if I do this, so I'm implementing a strong identity. So identity is what? Identity is a concept which will provide a necessary information to be able to use some of the protected resources from the AWS account. So that identity, maybe user can have identity, or my application can also have an identity. So by using that identity, user can access the some resource, some protected resource, or my application can also access some protected resource. So identity, I can assign it to the user as well as to my application also. Okay. Now this point, if you look at, so protect your data in transit and in rest. So for example, if you are storing your data over here in the database, let's say RDS database, you are storing the data, or in the storage, sorry, in some kind of a storage S3 simple storage service you are making use, so to store some, data, so your data should be protected or encrypted while that data placed inside this S3 account. That means what? When the data is at rest, when your data is stored over here, and let's say this file is requested by some user by using HTTP protocol, so by using HTTP protocol, this is, accessed. So this should be encrypted during the rest while this file is placed inside the S3, and this should be encrypted during the transfer, so during the transit also. So I will be transferring this file, over the internet, back to the end user. So during the transfer also, my data should be, encrypted. So protect data in the transit, okay, and at the rest. Okay. Okay. So the next time is saying apply security at all layers. So security is not just the responsibility of a security guy who is responsible for maybe securing your application. So security should be responsible for everybody's responsibility. So that means apply the security at all layer. So apply a defense in-depth approach with multiple security control. Okay, and we should be applied to the all layers. For example, or maybe you are making or you're storing something in the edge network, VPC, load balancing. So all the resources should be protected. So including your computer service, operating system, application, code. So everything should be having some sort of a security. So it is not a responsibility of one particular component. So security should be implemented all across throughout your infrastructure or throughout your application. Okay, and this slide is saying keep people away from your data. So use some kind of a mechanism or tool to reduce or to eliminate the need of direct access or manual processing of a data. No. So for example, I'm just storing a data inside S3 bucket. So I should not go and directly have the access of my uh, S3 account or access of my S3 bucket directly. So I should not go and give that direct access, though it is possible, but you should try to eliminate as possible as the public access. So I should keep the people away from the data. So you know, this reduce the risk of mishandling of data, due to human errors and due to handling of sensitive information. You know. So there is one service called as KMS service, Key Management Service in the AWS, which is responsible for keeping your sensitive data, like, for example, password or secrets, certificates. So you can store that sensitive data you know, uh, in the KMS rather than storing at the application, which your developer will have a direct access of your code. So developer can go and read that, the credential and can make some, miss, what, make some, you know, advantage of that credential and misbehave with your system. You know, so this reduces by keeping the people away from the data. This reduces the risk of mishandling, and human errors, okay, of sensitive information. Okay. Then automate security best practice. So automate software-based security mechanism to improve the ability to securely scale or more, rapidly and more cost effectively. So I should secure my, infrastructure. You know, I can go and scale that infrastructure. You know, so automate the security routine task with the API. Turn that infrastructure as a code. So you don't have to go and create that infrastructure required resource by using manually, rather than if you go and execute a example or execute a program, that program will help you to create a required resource. That program will help you to apply some security patch to the okay to the particular resource. So this point is saying apply security best practice, and uh, here, very important, I should go and make use of an infrastructure as a code, IAC. So infrastructure as a code that indicates that required infrastructure I should go and set up by using a code, by using some kind of a CLI. AWS CLI is available, or some kind of a, there are different the tools which are available, like for example, Terraform, Chef, Puppet. You can go and make use of those tools to create your required infrastructure rather than creating it manually. Okay. Then the next point, we will discuss, and we are going to discuss our security posture, and after that, this is going to be an end of our session. So probably after these slides. So controlling access to your AWS resources for the user group and roles are important. And how can I do that? By using just we have done that by using IAM, so identity and access management. So if I want the same thing, identity and access management, if I want same thing to be managed by, we have done that through the management console. But if I want to manage the same thing with the help of a program, then I should go and generate access key and the secret, and I can make use of a program, to perform that activity. So for example, so I'll show you. This user currently has an access of all the buckets. He or she can do what, read all information from the buckets. But I want to do that reading the information from the bucket through the management console. Rather, I want to make use of a program, and I want only to give only read permission to that program. So the program can go and do what, read the buckets. Program can go and download those buckets, or program can go and create those buckets. So I should go and give only the necessary permission to my program. So let's say I want to give a read permission to my program. Maybe I'm having a JavaScript program or .NET program or Java program or Python program. Using that program, I want to read. I want to connect to this my bucket, and I want to read what are the objects which are present inside the bucket. So how will I do this? So I have logged in through this IAM user. Okay. So for that IAM user, I should go and generate some kind of a secret key, and I should go and generate access key and secret information. So I'll go back to the IAM user. I will go back and find out this root user. Okay. And I'll just go and see this user has read permission only. Okay. And there's something called as a create access key. So you can click on this create access key, or you will get that same option under the security credential. So I can go over here, and if you look at down below, currently I don't have any access key because this is the user I have newly created. So I can go and create the access key, and I can make use of a command line interface. I can make use of any kind of a code. I can make use of AWS services which are running, probably outside AWS, the application which are running outside of AWS, or other. So you can just go and choose anything, any use case which you want to make use of that access key. So let's say I'm making use of a command line services. So I can just go and make use of a Cloud Shell CLI, or I'm using an application which are running outside AWS. So I can generate ultimately any kind of a keys. Ultimately, I need that key. Description is optional, but it is recommended. Okay, and that will give us some information. By using this information, so this is the access key, and this is the 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 secret for that access key. So using this information, I should be able to connect to the to the uh, to the account as this user. So I should be able to connect to the maybe to the S3 bucket, okay, as this newly created user. So as the newly created user, I should have only the permission of a read. So I can just go and make a read, call. Now I can't go and upload. I can't go and delete an existing file. I can't do anything. Only thing I can just go and read it. So I can make use these information, but of course you require a particular service, that URL of a particular service, what URL or what resource you want to access. So you need that information along with this secret and access. So I can just go and make use of the secret or access key, and I can make direct API call by using the REST API testing tool by using a Postman. I can just give a call by using a Postman. Also, it is possible. By using a program, also it is possible. So once I have access of secret and access key, I will be able to do a particular operation on the resource by using a CLI, or by using a program, or by making direct API call using the Postman or any similar tool. So what kind of authentication you are going to provide? So this key and secret is going to identify your application or your terminal. Okay, whether you are authorized to perform that, whether you are a valid user or not. So that can identify it. Okay, whether you are, whether you are performing a correct operation or not, that can be, that can be decided by the what permission you are having. So what that user is having a permission, so that is authorization. So this user, Raja as a user, may be able to log into the AWS account. So he is authorized to see all the resources. Maybe I can just go and see the S3 bucket, but I can't go and create a S3 bucket. That permission I don't have. But I can see the resources. So that authorization, who decides that authorization? So authorization can be decided by what permission I'm having to that user. So that permission can be defined by the IAM permission or policies. So there are, if I talk about the S3 bucket, so you have something called as a bucket policies, using which you can go and allow the direct access to the S3. Okay. Or by using IAM policy, I can allow the access of a bucket the way we have given the Raja user. So this authentication will help you to login, basically. That process will identify whether that user is valid user or not. And then whatever, after you do, verification, whether whatever operation you're performing, to perform that operation, you have authority or not, it will check. So whatever you do in the Azure, that will get monitored. So monitor AWS built-in and custom metrics, in the real time to collect logs from the several services and the application. So there is one important service which can help you to do that monitoring called as a CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is a service which will allow you to monitor or log the activity what the user is performing. And based on certain activity, based on certain condition, I can raise an alarm. So I can raise an alarm, I can raise an alert. So when I raise an alert, raise an alarm, it will alarm that alert alarm will go to the particular user. Okay. And that will send the notification to the particular user when the certain condition met. So for example, I'll give you a simple example. So for example, you are making use of a EC2 instance. Okay. And on that EC2 instance, you have deploy your application. Your application is used by end user, and suddenly there is a lot of traffic on your application, suspecting there is an attack happening on your application. So in that case, if there is a certain spike, there is a huge spike in the application, in the EC2, in the metrics, I can find out that CPU percentage. So if that CPU percentage certain hike, certain spike, then I want to, alarm. I want to send a alarm to a service engineer, so that service engineer can look into it and can go and monitor what is happening. So that kind of a scenario, I can do it in the Cloud Watch. Okay. I can do that auditing also similarly. Okay. You can see this. So you can do that auditing. And for example, who has created this user? So maybe I can just go and find out who has created what operation. So I can just do that that level of auditing. So who has deleted a particular resource? Who has created the particular resource? Who has logged in at what time? So all that information I can do track by using a cloud thread. Okay. So how I can control the network? So simple way, I can just go and control my network by creating VPC. So there is one concept called as a virtual private cloud, which is acting as a logically separated and isolated network from other VPC. So I can just go and create a VPC for my company, and I can assign the IP address to the VPC. So I can assign the address range to the VPC, and probably I will deploy some resources such as EC2 instance. So EC2 instance will be deployed inside the EC2, inside the VPC, and uh, whatever be the other resources which are present, I can connect to the other resources which are deployed in the VPC. But I can't connect the outside the VPC. So VPC is a logically isolated network in a AWS cloud. Within the network, I can create subnets, private subnet, public subnet for further isolation. And if I have two different network, two different VPC, I can just go and make use of the connection from my VPC and to the different VPC by using VPC pairing, or I can just go and make use of, if I want to connect my laptop to the AWS VPC, I can just go and make use of a VPN connection, for hybrid solution. So if I want to connect my laptop to the AWS cloud, so that will be point to site a VPN connection. If I want to connect my companies, maybe company I am having 10 machines, so all those 10 machines I want to connect to the AWS cloud, so that connection is called as so site to site VPN connection. So that kind of a thing I can do it in the AWS or in the any kind of a cloud. So VPC is logically separated the network. It's just like your physical network where your different machines, resources are connected to each other so that they can internally communicate with each other. It is just like that. It is available on the AWS. So it is logically okay. So it is not present physically, but it is present on the cloud. Hence it is called as a virtual private cloud. So VPC is actually a network, virtual network we are creating on the AWS. Then whatever be the resources which are present inside this virtual private network, so I can protect those resources, by using subnet routing, by using access list, ACL, by using security groups. So all these are the concepts which are going to help me to ultimately, appropriately route a particular traffic to the appropriate instance. It will help me to block particular, request. It will help me to allow only a specific request on a particular port number. So by using this concept, I can keep my resources which are present in my VPC protected. So this will allow us to keep our resources as protected. Okay. So I hope people are listening. So I hope. Are you listening to me, guys? Okay. So then whether your data is encrypted, so there are two kinds of encryption. It's support by AWS. Okay. So you have client side encryption or you have a server side encryption. Okay. So client side encryption, that means your encrypted, you, your encrypt your data before you sending to the AWS. So you should encrypt your data, before you send that to the AWS. And server side encryption means what? You send the data and the AWS will take care of that encryption. So ultimately, it will make you know your data protected. You know. So we have something called as key management service. So key management service will allow you to store keys and certificate into KMS. So key management service will allow you to create keys and certificate and maybe uh, the passwords, you can secrets, you can go and create. Okay. And with the help of keys or certificate, I can just go and make use of my data. I can keep my data, encrypted by using, for example, by using keys. So I can go and create some kind of a keys inside KMS and manage. If I'm creating my own keys, so I will take care of my encryption, of my data. It is not AWS responsibility. So I will take care of my encryption. So encrypt data locally within your application. Okay. So encrypt data locally within your application and then store it into the AWS service. And then whoever wants to read that data, just share that key to the other person so that by using a key, uh, that receiver or that another person can also able to get the data. So if you're using a server side encryption, then you do not have to do anything from your side at least, so that AWS will do everything for you for doing a server side encryption. So there are actually two kinds of encryption. One is client side encryption, where you will create a key and you will store that key inside a KMS service. You can go and make use of that key to encrypt your data. Okay. And once you encrypt your data locally, you will store that data in the AWS. And the next time, whenever you want that data, you have to present, to the AWS same key. And once you provide that same key, it will, give you that same data. Okay. So client-side encryption, your data has to be encrypted before it goes to the AWS. And server-side encryption, your encryption will be done by the AWS. So your data will be encrypted after it stores into the AWS. Okay. Okay. So that's it, guys. So you should go and see some the resources. So I'll just share those resources. So you should go and see these resources as your next step. I'll share those links in the chat box. So this should be your next step. So thank you guys. So that's it. I have done from today's session. So If you have any question, please feel free to write your question in the chat. Okay. Otherwise, we are good to go. I'm waiting for your questions. So if you don't have any question, so thank you so much for attending, and keep learning, guys. So keep learning, and if you want to begin your journey from the cloud, you pick up any cloud and start, learning that cloud. You know, because these days the cloud knowledge is very, very critical. And apart from having a knowledge of a cloud, you should have some kind of a foundational knowledge of a, AI also, artificial intelligence also. you know. So keep your learning, from that direction. So thank you so much. Thanks, guys, thanks for attending. Yes. So I would suggest, you should start with AWS journey by, so look into AWS foundational course. So there are few courses which are provided by the AWS also. You can, okay, target that foundational course called as a cloud practitioner. So that cloud practitioner, will give you a knowledge, broad knowledge of all the services which are present on the AWS, you know, and if you complete that cloud practitioner, you will have at least a broad understanding what services are present inside the AWS. Then you can move into, AWS architect associate, you know, or if you are inclined towards a development side, you can go and, choose AWS developer associate, you know, but you should keep focus learning of your AWS cloud practitioner first, and then depending on what choice you want to pick, either you want to go into an administrative task or you want to go into a developer task. So if you are going to pick administrator, then AWS architect associate would be a right choice for you. If you are picking developer track, AWS developer associate will be a right choice for you. So I hope I've answered, Surya. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for attending today's session. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'll disconnect, guys. Thank you.